In this video, you will learn how to solve different problems on algebra. A circuit has a current of 8 plus 7i amps, and another circuit has a current of 5 minus 3i amps. What is the difference between the currents of the two circuits? So we are asked here for the difference between the currents. That means we subtract one complex current from the other. So let's define I sub 1 is current 1, which is equal to 8 plus 7i. Then current 2, which we denote as I sub 2, is equal to 5 minus 3i amps. So the difference between them is just I sub 1 minus I sub 2. And this is just 8 plus 7i minus 5 minus 3i. We get rid of the parentheses here, so we distribute the negative sign to 5 minus 3i. So this would become 8 plus 7i. Negative times 5 is negative 5. Then negative times negative is positive 3i. And now we combine like terms. We can add up the real parts of these complex numbers, and then we combine the imaginary parts. So the real parts are 8 and negative 5. So this is 8 minus 5, then plus the imaginary part, 7i, plus 3i. Then we simplify them. 8 minus 5 is 3. Then plus 7i plus 3i is 10i. Therefore, the difference between the given two currents is just 3 plus 10i amps. And that is letter D. What is the parent graph of the following function and what transformations have taken place on it? We're given here this function, y equals x minus 3 squared. Since this is quadratic, then the graph of this is a parabola. Therefore, the parent function is y equals x squared. And it's positive here. Okay, no negative sign. So that means the graph of this, the parabola, is opening upward with vertex at 0, 0, the region. Now let's check the transformations of the given function. So notice here that there is this negative 3 inside parentheses. So that means this graph, okay, shifts 3 units to the right. There is no negative sign here, so that means there is no reflection, since there is no negative in front of the function, and there is no vertical stretch or compression, since the coefficient of x here is 1 and there is no vertical shift, since there is no added number here or added constant outside. So the transformations that have taken place on this given function here is only horizontal shift 3 units to the right. Okay, and then the parent graph is y equals x squared. So the answer here should be letter D. What is the parent function of this graph? Okay, we're given this graph and this is a parabola. So that means the parent function of this is f of x equals x squared. So that would be letter A. if f of x is equal to 2x plus 7 and g of x is equal to 3x squared minus 1, what expression represents f of g of x? So we are asked here for the composition f of g of x. And we're given here the two functions f of x equals 2x plus 7 and g of x equals 3x squared minus 1. Now to find f of x of g of x, we just have to substitute g of x into f. So f of g of x is just equal to f of g of x is 3x squared minus 1. So that is f of 3x squared minus 1. So that means we substitute 3x squared minus 1 to the value of x in function f of x. Alright, so this would be 2 times x, which is g of x now, and that is equal to 3x squared minus 1 plus 7. So we just simply replace x with 3x squared minus 1. Then we simplify this. We distribute 2 to 3x squared minus 1. Then 2 times 3x squared, that is 6x squared, minus 2 times 1 is 2 plus 7. And then we group like terms. So this is just x, 6x squared, negative 2 plus 7 is positive 5. Therefore, f of g of x is just equal to 6x squared plus 5. So the answer here is letter A. If f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2 and g of x is equal to 4x plus 2, what is the value of f plus g of negative 1? So f plus g of negative 1. So we're given here the two functions f of x and g of x. F of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2 and g of x is equal to 4x plus 2. And we are asked to find f plus g of negative 1. So that means we need to add the two functions first. Then evaluate the new function with the value of x, which is negative 1. Okay, so that would be 3x squared minus 2 plus 4x plus 2. And 2 here cancels out, so we're just left with 3x squared plus 4x. So this is f plus g. We added the two functions. And then f plus g of negative 1, that means we replace x with negative 1. So this is just equal to 3 times negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1. Then this is 3 times negative 1 squared is positive 1 plus 4 times negative 1 is just negative 4. So this is minus 4. So this is just 3 minus 4, and that is equal to negative 1. Therefore, f plus g of negative 1 here is equal to negative 1. So the answer here is letter B. What is the domain of the function f of x equals x plus 5 over x squared plus 2x minus 8? Alright, so how do we find the domain of the function? Let's recall the rule. The domain of a rational function is all real numbers except where the denominator is 0. So we're given here this function f of x equals x plus 5 over x squared plus 2x minus 0 and no minus 8. our denominator is x squared plus 2x minus 8. So x squared plus 2x minus 8 cannot be 0. So let's factor x squared plus 2x minus 8 first. So we look for factors or two numbers that when we multiply them it would equal to negative 8, and when we add them up it would equal to positive 2. And those numbers are just positive 4 and negative 2. So these are the factors of x squared plus 2x minus 8, x plus 4, and x minus 2. We can equate this is 0 to find the values of the two values of x. So this is x plus 4 equals 0. So x is equal to negative 4, and the other one is x minus 2 equals 0. Then x is equal to positive 2. Therefore, the denominator here, x squared plus 2x minus 8, will be equal to 0 if x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 2. Therefore, the domain is just x such that x is not equal to 2 and not equal to negative 4. And we can also write this in interval notation. Negative infinity and negative 4 union negative 4 to union to positive infinity. So all real numbers except positive 2 and negative 4. Therefore, the answer here is letter D. Which statement is true for the function f of x equals 1 over x plus 4? So we're given these four statements here, and all of the statements are talking about the range and domain of the function 1 over x plus 4. So let's find the domain and function range of this given. So for the domain, the denominator cannot be equal to 0, and the denominator here is x plus 4, and we find the value of x here, so x is equal to negative 4. Therefore, x cannot be equal to negative 4. Therefore, the domain is just equal to x such that x is not equal to negative 4. So all real numbers except negative 4. Or we can write this in interval notation, from negative infinity to negative 4. Negative 4 is not included, union negative 4 to positive infinity. And now for the range, okay, the range f of x equals 0. So there'll be 1 over x plus 4 equals 0. And this is impossible since the numerator is always 1. So y equals 0 here is not in the range. Therefore, the range of the given function can take all real values except 0. That would be all values of y such that y is not equal to 0. Or in interval notation, that would be negative infinity, 0 union 0, positive infinity. If f of x is equal to x squared minus 1 and g of x is equal to x minus 1, what is the value of f over g of x? So we are asked here for the value of f over g of x. And then we're given the two functions f of x and g of x, which is equal to x squared minus 1 and x minus 1 respectively. Now to solve this, f of g of x, so that means we just divide the two functions f of x over g of x. So this is x squared minus 1 over x minus 1. Then we can factor the numerator, which is x squared minus 1. So we can write that as x plus 1 times x minus 1 over x minus 1. And x minus 1 here cancels out. Therefore, f over g of x is just equal to x plus 1. So the answer here is letter B.